Welcome back to Conversations on a Bench, a 24-hour live streamed event where we're talking about homelessness, we're talking about addiction, about mental health, about things that plague some of our friends in poverty. And I have a friend with me today. I have Josh with me here today. And Josh has agreed to share some of his story. So Josh, tell me about yourself.
Well, I was born to a military family and that. Traveled around a lot as a kid and never really got used to being in one place at one time. And, I've kind of always been the new guy. And, like I said, I never really been in one place for a prolonged period of time, which longest I ever lived at one place was about 4 years. And that was during school. But, I never really got never really truly got a proper upbringing, as most people would call it. But I learned through life's experiences and that, how to be a good person and that. Um, One thing was my mom, she wound up being one of those, had a different boyfriend every couple weeks or so. And they're never really good guys. And once I got to a point of being old enough and big enough, I started defending my mom from these guys. And the police and other people were congratulating me on defending my mom, but it had put the wrong sense or the wrong understanding of violence in my head. And that really affected me when I became an adult, because then I didn't see a problem with violence until it started getting me in trouble. And then ultimately I wound up going to prison for a violent offense. And I've been through anger management through CMH, and I did an anger management program the couple of years I was in prison. It really opened my eyes to, what violence really is and what it does.
I lied to the shelter and I told
When I
them
went to
that
prison, before I went to prison, I was making good money. I was building pole barns and doing skilled manual labor and making thousands of dollars a month. And I had my own house, was working on paying off my first house. I had a couple vehicles. I had ATVs, $60,000 plus worth of tools. And heck, about one bedroom in my house was my own personal walk-in closet. But when I went to prison, I wound up losing just about everything I had. And then at the same time, people who've known me in that, they're like, oh, well, you're never going to change, da 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 da. So they turned their backs on me. And when I got out of prison, there was friends and family that were willing to give me a chance to stay with them and, get on my feet in that. But most people will see see someone who's labeled as a violent felon, like employers, they're like, well, we don't want to put our other employees at risk. They weren't willing to see that I had done my time. I had done what I needed to do to become a better person. And I was really never given a chance. So I had to keep moving from this family members to this family members to this friend's place, just trying to find a job. And, it really wore on me and wound up losing more in the process. But then I got to the point where I became homeless, and that was just over a year ago. And I wound up staying in a tent from the middle of September all the way until about the middle of December. And I wound up going to jail again because I was carrying a knife, but it wasn't in plain sight. So I was carrying a concealed weapon. But I wound up spending 7 months in jail. When I got out, I was still homeless, and I just got to that point where I'm like, I can't do this by myself. I need help. And there was only one person I could turn to, and that was God. And God, God brought to me the opportunity to be able to come here to Midland and stay at the Open Door. And since I've gotten here, I was able to get employment within a month. I've been working for almost 2 months now. Um, I was going through CMH services, but they're saying that I have such a positive outlook most of the time that they don't feel I need their services anymore. But they did tell me that if I need their services in the future, just go ahead and get a hold of them. You know, I owe that to God. I do. You know, being able to look positively on life, even though I'm still struggling of sorts, you know, because I'm working at Arby's, you know, making $13.25 an hour, and I get scheduled for about 31 hours a week right now because of the road construction out in front of the job. But that's supposed to be done soon, and the general manager did tell me that after the construction's done and sales pick back up, I should be getting about 40 hours a week, so it's going to be a bit more. And once my 90-day review comes up, which is soon, I should be getting a raise. So I'm just looking forward to being able to get some housing, and I know it's not going to be ideal at first, either a roommate situation or a different communal type living situation, but I'm willing to do what I have to do within the law and, you know, with what's right to be able to start building the life again. But this time, start with a good foundation, and that foundation being faith and, you know, being a good, honest person, you know, being what I know I can be. You know, I just gotta hope and pray that other people will give me the opportunity, like the Open Door did, like Arby's did, to see that the past isn't the past, and I am a better person, you know, and I'll go out of my way to help someone else out, even if I'm struggling, you know. So but I always pray to God that I always pray for others other than myself. For myself, I pray that I get nourishment from the food that is generously donated to the Open Door, or that I get at work or whatnot, what have you. But for others, I pray for more for others, because I feel that, you know, even though I'm going through what I'm going through, there's others that are worse off than I am, and I know they are because I've met a number of them, you know, and I always do my best to try to bring positivity to a situation, because I know that positivity, that positive energy it'll find its way to help somebody else out in a positive way, and to help spread the positivity.
Now, when you have done like different case mans, this suck as John.
Yes.
You know, John tells his story too, and about how he did not have a life that was a straight line either. But I think that John's a good example of someone who has gotten over that difficulty, has trusted the Lord with it, had went through the struggles and found peace with God, and then can share that with others and can share that to help other people get further down the road. You know, and our hope for you is that someday you'll get your house back, and someday you'll go back to doing the kind of work that you really like to do. But until then, we're glad that you have peace. We're glad that you're here, and glad that you're always friendly.
All right. And I mean, I myself, I know there's a number of individuals out there that have either stayed here or whatnot, what have you, and they always thought of it and speak of it as kind of a negative thing of being here. But for me, being here at the Open Door, even the opportunity to come here, to be able to have just a starting point, you know, a place to be able to come and shower and rest, and that, you know, for me, from the beginning, I've seen it as a blessing. You know, I mean, there's not, from experience and looking into it, there's not a whole lot of homeless shelters in the state of Michigan. But I'm gonna be I am and will be forever grateful that I was able to come here to the Open Door. You know, 'cause I mean, it's been a heartwarming experience, and really shown me that, you know, there are still good people out there that, you know, what will do what they can to help others that are struggling.
Sure.
You know, and I mean, the traffic going by at some point
crazy,
a
isn't
little
it?
loud, but no, it's you know, I'm doing my best to, you know, get on my feet and that, I mean, there's still trials and tribulations, whatnot I'm going through. But at the same time, I do my best to keep that kind of stuff to myself, or share it with those who will be able to help me think through the situation.
Right, yeah.
But I'm just glad that I've been able to get the patience and understanding that I've needed, to be able to assist me with certain things. And I mean, and I know a lot of the guys here, they look to me for a little bit of guidance because I've been doing so well.
You got a good perspective.
I do my best to have a good perspective of things.
It makes a difference, doesn't it? I mean,
It-
your attitude and the way you look at things makes a difference. It really does.
It makes a world of difference. Because I mean, if you look at the glasses half empty, well, then you're not ever going to see the glasses being filled. But if you can look at the glasses half full, well, then you know that it will be filled. But you have to have faith. You got to keep up your hope. And one thing that I'm still working on, I'm getting there, but is to not think of yourself and not speak of yourself in a negative way. So I mean, yes, there are those of us that haven't made the best choices in life and that, but as long as we're willing to work on ourselves, as long as we're willing to have the patience and the courage to make the choices to better ourselves, then you are a good person. If you're willing to help others or just even put a smile on someone's face, that's a good thing. You gotta look at the little things in life.
There you go.
It's the little things in life that make the difference, because no matter who you are, no matter how much money you got, no matter what all you got, everybody goes through good times and bad times.
They do.
And it's just, you got to try to see things from not just your own perspective, but the other person's perspective as well.
Well, and we talk a lot here at the Open Door about the fact that God loves us. And so if God loves us, then we love others, right? And
Right.
so it's a little bit of the old paying it forward almost, right?
Right.
If God has poured out his grace and mercy on you, then you get the opportunity to do that for other people.
Right. You get that holy or spiritual energy. It's not just a gift for you, but it's a gift for those around you as well.
Exactly.
And it's something that you shouldn't keep to yourself. It's something that you should share.
Right.
Because if you're open and willing to share that good and loving energy that we get from God, then it's going to spread. It's going to spread through other things in your life, the people around you, and it'll spread from there.
Yeah.
So I mean, there could be times where you're going through a hard time and it's seeming to last forever. But as long as you can keep a positive mindset, and I've learned from experience, it's pretty hard to do. But as long as you can keep that positive thinking going and seeing
Now he's coming
things
after
in a
you.
positive aspect, it really helps to turn things around.
Yeah.
It's, like I said, it's hard, and I know from experience, but
But you're not alone.
right.
You've got the people at the Open Door, but you also know that even in the difficulties, God walks with you. He doesn't always make it all better right away.
No.
But he walks with you, and he understands your suffering, and he understands your pain.
Yeah. And going along with that, it's one thing that all of us got to keep in mind is we may want to help other people, and we know God wants to help us as well. But if someone's not willing to help themselves or make the changes they need to make, there's no help that we can give them that will help them.
People need to participate, right, in their own recovery, in their own moving forward,
Right.
for sure.
People need to make the choices and choose the actions that are going to be able to best benefit them.
Yeah.
In order to be able to get better. Yes, there's programs and there's God and everything else that's willing to help anybody that's struggling, but they have to be willing to accept that help.
Yeah.
Have to be willing to make the changes that they need to make.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm speaking from experience of when I was younger. I wasn't quite an alcoholic, but I was on my way to becoming one.
Mm.
And I wound up giving up drinking because my eyes were open that I had wasted a lot of money on drinking alcohol.
Sure.
And that if I had continued upon that path, then my life would have been worse off than it was before I got here.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but you think about it, every choice that we make, there's a consequence.
There is.
You know, but at the same time, if we make the right choices, well, those consequences are going to be beneficial.
Yeah.
You know, because if you make the wrong choices, then you're gonna destroy your own life. You're gonna harm those that are around you, and harm is not just physical, but it's mental, it's emotional.
Sure.
You know, and you gotta be able to build those bridges with people and keep those bridges maintained.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not just, oh, okay, they're my friend now, they're gonna be my friend 10 years from now. That's not.
Yeah,
so.
you have to build that, right? You have to foster
You have to
that,
build
for
that,
sure.
and you have to nurture it. You know, and you have to have respect, and you have to be honest. You know, like if you're gonna start a relationship, put the cards out on the table all face up and say, hey, this is what I'm coming to you with, what are you coming to me with, and figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, because even when it comes to relationships, I know I've never been married, no kids yet, but and I may be going on 37, but I'm still looking for that right one.
There you go.
You know, there's never a perfect person, and every relationship's gonna have its ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're willing to work and communicate with each other, then that's what truly makes a good relationship, is your ability and willingness to work together to have that good relationship.
Sure. Sure.
You know, I understand that, and right now I'm working on me, so I'm not really looking for a
There you go.
but
Well, isn't that part of it, being the kind of person that's the kind of person you'd be looking for, right?
right.
Exactly.
You got to look for a person that corresponds with who you are, and you know, but at the same time, you know, you got, like, for me, I'm a guy that, yeah, I like working and I'll work a lot. The boss calls me in, hey,
Yeah.
you want to come in and work, cover the shift? Sure, why not? Hey, I got 47 hours last week. I was only
Wonderful.
scheduled for 31.
Yeah, that helps, doesn't it?
You know, I mean, yes, granted, it wore on me and all that, but I do know that, you know, I keep that good work ethic up, and that's gonna guarantee me a promotion, a raise in the future. It's gonna guarantee that, you know, the employer that I'm working for is gonna be like, hey, yeah, this is a real good worker, and if when I do go to find a better paying job, you know, then I'm gonna have a really good reference.
Right. Because you would have built a reputation, you know. You will have identified your character that is growing and that is good, and that hopefully you will be building a character that then will supersede anything that lived in your past.
Right.
Right?
You know, be able to show that, you know, show who I am in that, but at the same time, like, I'll be looking for a woman who, you know, is willing to be an equal with somebody.
Right.
You know, someone who's willing to be a partner in life.
Sure.
You know, because I can say from experience that, and this the way I feel. You know, I don't want anybody else to have to feel this feeling, but I feel that living a life alone is not a life worth living. You know, it's better to have friends and family. That's always a good thing, but at the end of the day, it's even better to have somebody to speak to confide in, to just spend that quality time with, you know, sitting back on the couch or watching a movie, or
It's community, you know, and you kind of spoke to that earlier, that when you were kind of going from family member to family member, that you needed that community. And when you run out of community, things get harder.
right.
And so trying to build a community of your own.
Right. And for me, it really wasn't running out of that community or, you know, whatnot. I didn't overstay my welcome, but it's just I exhausted the options of employment in that area.
Sure.
And so I didn't want to become a burden to those in my life.
Sure.
You know, and I'm in communication with my mom and my sister and others. You know, they know how I'm doing, and they're praying for the best for me.
Good.
I'm praying for the best for them. You know, but at the same time, even being here, I don't want to be a burden to the open door, you know, and I haven't been, you know, I'm always
Yeah.
willing to
Yeah.
lend a helping hand, and
We kind of work together here, right?
oh yeah.
And, you know, hopefully there'll be a time in the future where you'll be able to give back in whatever community you're living in, you know, whether it's here or another community, that you'll remember what was given to you and be able to serve again, just like you serve here. So,
Well, most definitely. And no matter where I'm at, I always try to give the help and assistance, even if it's just advice or just a ear to listen to somebody, you know. I always do my best to try to help those that I can, as I can, with what I've got.
thank
You
you.
know, and I learned that you know, I got to know the limits of helping other people, because there are some people that they'll take advantage of that, and they'll drain you for everything they can. As they say, give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Well, we don't want that, do we?
You know, no. But oh no, I mean, and I do plan on, once I get back, once I'm on my feet and my life is stable again, and I mean, I'm kind of hoping it'll be here in the Midland area, and I'll volunteer here at the Open
Well, we'd
Door,
love to have you.
you know, and that, and I mean, you know, be able to be like just somebody that some of the guys can talk to or something.
Right.
You know,
And be that person who says, I was in your shoes
I know what it's like.
and life has changed for me. Yeah.
Right.
I think that that's that idea of a hand up, you know,
Yeah.
follow me as I follow Christ. So it's a hand up.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you for spending some time with me tonight. I appreciate that.
And thank you, Saralyn.